So guys, EA have given us a new Evos set, the Trailblazers Striker, which is behind a paywall, but is still pretty decent, and thankfully not as much as the one from last week. And then they've also given us the free one, the Trailblazers Centre-Back, and there are a lot of good cards, and I'm glad that they're showing Longley on the screen here, because he's an example of how you can take a player that just isn't great, and Longley already is at the maximum rating that you can take in for the Evo at 77 rated, but you can turn him into an 85 rated centre-back, and he looks good. He doesn't look insane, but he looks pretty good. His pace isn't too bad. It's not quite there where you'd want it, but it's not too bad, especially if you put something like a shadow on top of it. His passing and dribbling become nice as a centre-back, and his defending and physicality are also pretty good. Not only can you take players up into the mid-80s and make them look, half decent in terms of stats like that, but you can also give them, so long as they don't already have the playstyle, you can give each player 3 new playstyles, which are Power Header, Aerial, and Acrobatic. A bit of a weird one, the Acrobatic in there, I feel like, but the EA have put it in, so it must be of use to centre-back to some extent. But obviously, Aerial and Power Header are great to have. And so my conclusion and takeaway from this is, you want to go with a player that is as close as possible. If you really want to go with like a meta player for your team and try and get the best possible player out of it, then you want to go with obviously someone that's at that 77 rated, that's as close to the maximum pace as 72 rated, because the pace, you don't get as much of an increase for that as what you do for some of the other stats, such as like physicality and defending. So try and get as close as possible to the maximum pace and rating. And then try and go with someone that is probably like 6'2" or 6'3", or ideally even higher than that in height, because they will get the most out of the Aerial and Power Header playstyles, and it's a bonus that they don't even already have that as well, because you're getting something that they never had on the card in the first place. And then Acrobatic, you might be scoring overhead kicks from corners potentially. So they're going to be really good. Having like a 6'4" defender, and there are options like this, having like a 6'4" defender, and then having that Power Header and Aerial trait or playstyle, along with mid-70s for pace, and then high like defending and physicalities in the mid-80s. You're going to have a really, really good centre-back, and there are quite a few options to be able to go for. It's a little bit annoying if you want to take a women's player into it, because, as we know, a lot of the women players are not really great in terms of their height. They're not going to be at 6'3" and 6'4" in height. They're more going to be like 5'7", 5'8" in height, which means the play styles that you get out of them aren't going to be quite as usable in game. But there's still one player that I've picked out that I really like the look of, and we'll get to Mendes in a little bit. I'm probably going to take this guy from Torino. It's a little bit of a shame that he already has the play style of Aerial, so he's not kind of getting that, but he already has block, which is pretty cool. And all these 77 rated cards would go to the maximum racing increase of an 85 rated, and all of these are really good options, and I would argue some of these are all the best options to be able to go for. Longley, we spoke about, he actually also has this Barcelona card, so I don't know if you can still buy that off the market, but great option. But in my opinion, the 2 best are Chalobah and Djene from Getafe. I think Chalobah probably is the best on the whole, just because of the league. Obviously La Liga is still one of the major leagues, but you don't see as many people building La Liga teams, full La Liga teams, which you would kind of need to with him just because of the club and the nation. But with Chalobah, obviously really good club, fillings likewise with the nation. And he would go to that 85 rating. He would go to 87 defending, 86 physicality, 72 pace. He's 6'3" in height. He's got a good player work rate as well. 3-star for a centre back, so obviously really nice as well. And he already has 2 play styles, which aren't the new ones that the Evo gives. So he would go to 5 overall play styles, and the 2 that he's already got, slide, tackle, and intercept, are really useful to have on a centre back. So those 5 play styles on him are going to be really, really good. So I think he's a fantastic option to go for. And also, you can use him as a CDM. You can use him as a right back as well, but you wouldn't really want to do that because he'd only have 72 pace. But I think he could be a great CDM. Arguably, maybe even a better CDM than a centre-back. So that's one to consider. Djene, again, you can also play him as a CDM. Now, as I said, obviously the nation and the club, not on the level of Chelsea, no disrespect to Getafe or to Togo, and obviously the height isn't quite there at 5'10", but it's not the worst. But again, this is a card, in terms of the stats that you get out of it, he actually would get better overall stats and would have better play styles than Chalobah. He'd have the same defending and physicality, so 87 defending and 86 physicality. He would have 76 pace. He's already got 3 play styles: long ball pass, slide tackle, and long throw. And then getting those other free ones would mean he'd go to 6 overall playstyles. So he's another really good option to be able to go for. And then this is the guy that I'll probably be taking, the player from Torino. It's just the only shame with this card is the fact that he's already got the aerial playstyle traits. But I think he's the best Italian to go for. In terms of a women's player, I think Maria Mendes is, in terms of stats, will become better than any of these. Will become, or certainly pretty much on the level like a Dejene. She comfortably has the best pace, so she's at that maximum rating. She's just one under the maximum pace. So she'd be great in terms of the overall stats that she'd come out with. She really, really would be. But she's 5'7" in height. She hasn't got the best work rate of a medium. I know that the work rate is not the be-all and end-all, but I'd much rather have a medium-high than a medium-medium. But yeah, it's the height, isn't it, at 5'7". And then you can kind of argue, you know, having that. I mean, she's already got jockey as a defensive playstyle, but how useful is that, you know, that aerial and the power header going to be when she's 5'7" in height? I don't think it'll get that much usability out of that. So I think she's still a really good card in terms of the stats that she'll get, but the height kind of makes her a bit of a difficult option to take. But there we go, guys. There are some of the best Evos to be able to take. Let me know what you're going to be going for. Will you also consider unlocking the striker Evo as well for the coins or for the FC points? But I'm going to be going with this guy, I think, from Torino. I think he's going to be my option. But he won't get in ahead of Darmian and Bonucci. But he'll be a good player to have on the bench, I guess. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.